Alright guys, so I'm going to call this my handy shortcuts video, okay? And this is for when we're finding the percentage of a number. So similar to the video that I recorded previously on 4J is the main chapter on this in your textbook. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things to talk to you about, but there is more, heaps more, and I'm sure you clever boys will be able to work them out. So my first one, I might just cover up the others so it's a little clearer for you guys to see. There we go. Okay, so my first one is to think about the fraction that you are working with. Sorry, the percentage. So if you're asked to find 25% of the number 40, for example, you would be thinking about 25% is the same as 1/4 as a fraction, okay? And so if you know that, you can easily just divide the number by 4. So 40 divided by 4 equals 10. So 25% of 40 is 10. Okay? Similarly, if you've got a percentage like 20% equals 1/5, you know that you can just divide the number by 5 and that will get you to your answer. So for example, 20% of 50 divided by 5, that's 10. If you also then think about if you had a question with 2/5, you could find 1/5 and double it. If it was 3/5, you could find 1/5 and triple your answer. Similar thinking for a quarter. Now, always really great to be thinking about different ways to do questions. Only use this one if you've got a nice easy rounded figure that you can work with and it's not going to lead you to any errors. That would be my advice. Okay, so use it if you wish, but use it at your own peril. So make a really good judgment call as to whether that's a good method or whether you use the previous method that's really reliable if you follow the steps. Okay, so it can cause you to get a quicker answer, but that might cause you to make a mistake in the process. If you're using this method as well, make sure you show me you're working. Don't just write the answer. So it'd be 1/4 equals whatever, if that's what you were going to use. Okay. My second example here is when you're asked to find 10% of something. Okay. So let's say you're asked to find 10% of 150. We know that when we've got a whole number, our decimal point of our whole number is actually at the end, but we don't go around writing a decimal point after every whole number. We only really show our decimal point if there's a smaller part of the number following that decimal point. It's a similar way to whenever we have a whole number, we don't write the number 1 under it as a fraction all the time. It takes too long. But you know it's there. So when you find 10%, you're dividing by 10. Okay, and you're just going to move your decimal place. So 10% of 150 is 15. Okay, so you can do that method as well. Again, only if it's a really rounded number. And in a similar way to these questions, you could then find 30% by finding 10% first and tripling your answer. Okay, so for example, if I was asked to find 30% of 150, I find 10%, which is 15, times by 3 will give me 30%, 45. Okay, so that's another one there. Again, make sure you show me you're working, please. Okay. If you've got like a percentage that's under 10%, say, what you can do is to find 1% and then double it if it was 2%, triple it if it was 3%, etc. Okay, and finding 1%, kind of similar to here, I move my decimal place 2 places. So let's say I had to find 1% of 150. I'm going to move it 2 places because I'm dividing by 100, so that's 1.5 or 1.5. Okay, then let's say I was asked to find 2%, that would equal 3, etc. Okay, so again, show me you're working, make sure you show me what you're doing. I think I mentioned this one earlier, but if you find like 30, 40%, etc., 60, 70%, you can find 10% and then times it by 3 to find 30%, 4 to find 40%, etc. Okay, so all of those methods are totally fine to use, but my advice is to make sure you know exactly what you're doing, check your answer, and show you're working.